Twan Walker. Twan, we're talking about your hometown team, the Chicago Bulls. Scottie Pippen has been promoting his recent book, and he's been taking some shots at Michael Jordan in the process. The latest surrounding the flu game and how Pippen doesn't get enough credit for playing hurt himself in the '98 finals. Take a listen.
I definitely was not able to play a Game 7.
And you know the way it works with us in the media. When Michael Jordan would get sick in a playoff game, we make it seem like he came from his hospital bed with IV stuck in his arm. And
it's in the book.
And he has these great accomplishments. But for you, that is pretty remarkable what you did. Again, I'm not saying you're doing it for people to give you credit, but do you feel that not enough was made of that moment? Because there you were playing hurt in a deciding game against a great Utah Jazz team.
Here's my breakdown on that. I'm going to ask you this.
All right.
Is it easier to play with a herniated disc or to play with the flu?
They always say the worst injury to have is a bad back. So,
well, I don't see many bad back games, but I do see flu games. Flu. Come on.
That's a great answer.
All right, Antoine, that does remind me I do have to get my flu shot. That's not important now. The question that is important, does Scottie Pippen get enough credit?
Well, this is always tough for me, Jenna, to be honest with you. Both of these guys are at one point in my life where I consider friends of mine. I got a great fortune, I tell people this, to be around Michael from 2001 to probably 2007, maybe going to 2008, where he came back and got an opportunity to know him on a very personal level. Scottie Pippen is my friend now, and I consider him a friend, somebody that I talk to now. So I understand where both of those guys are coming from. I do believe that, you know, Scottie feels a certain type of way after The Last Dance, and we all enjoyed that over the pandemic. And Scottie was working on a few projects, and the book came up, and, you know, he feels a certain type of way. He wants a certain type of level of respect for Michael. He wants a certain type of level of respect from people to understand that Michael wasn't the only one to win those 6 titles. And I think he's upset about that, and that's what comes out in this book. But the flu game, I was in the league at the time, so it's always tough for me to make those type of calls because I was a fan as well as being a professional athlete competing against those teams. So it always put me in a tough spot, and I know these gentlemen very well. But I think if you look at this whole story, Michael's never really given Scottie his just due in so many different ways, and Scottie's looking for that. And he's at a breaking point where he wants to come out because he was kind of painted in a bad light in that Last Dance because everybody was glued to the TVs and with everything, and Michael didn't really defend him. So Scottie's on the comeback, but this is always tough. 2 guys I admire very much so, have a high level of respect for, and it's unfortunate that it's coming out in a book and they didn't handle this privately because this is the best duo to ever play the game of basketball.
Well, so I don't think it's unfortunate it's coming out in the book. I think that's part of the marketing plan for the book. And I'll give my own disclosure, just like Antoine did. My wife produced The Last Dance, and I worked with Scottie and on The Jump at ESPN. We hired Scottie. So I've got my feet on both sides of the fence as well. But I'll start this with a story. Here's the issue, because I think a lot of people, if we were in Scottie Pippen's shoes, would feel the same way that he does. So suppose you're in your neighborhood, and your neighbor's house is better than your house. It's got a bigger yard, it's got a nicer kitchen, it's got one more bathroom, it's got a nicer living room. It's better in every way. But when people come to appraise your house and your neighbor's house is worth 20x what your house is. I think you have the right to raise your hand and be like, look, I understand it's better. But first of all, that house is better because I'm there, because I'm like a nice little house. Second of all, it's not 20 times worth better than mine. Michael Jordan's career earnings, or not career earnings, net worth is estimated to be $2 billion. Scottie Pippen made $100 million. It's $100 million, a lot of money, Nick. It's not $2 billion. Scottie Pippen does not own a franchise, and he is not in a position to buy a franchise. The other part of this is marketing. Because I think The world at large views this massive gulf between Scottie and Michael. And Scottie's like, it's not a massive gulf. His house is just a little bit better than mine. And the marketing of Jordan has been so masterful. Michael Jordan got cut from his varsity team. Oh, anybody can do it. Then he went to North Carolina and won a championship. Scottie Pippen was a walk-on in Central Arkansas. Nobody talks about it. Oh, the flu game, the poison pizza. Scottie Pippen's like, I'm running around with a herniated disc in my back. Nobody talks about it. Oh, he had surgery. Scottie Pippen had surgery. He missed the beginning of the season. Selfish guy. Oh, he sat on the bench, didn't take the last shot. Tony Kukoc, he's pouting. Selfish guy. And Michael Jordan left for 2 years to follow a passion for baseball. He didn't quit on his team. He had a passion for baseball. But Scottie Pippen is not committed. So I think the marketing of those three things, the origin story of being cut, playing through pain, and commitment to the team, all falls in Jordan's favor. And I think if we were in Scottie Pippen's shoes, we would feel the same way.
Yeah, I think that's all true. I also think at times, unfortunately, Scottie is his worst spokesperson. Bomani said this yesterday, and he's right. The reason the flu game's iconic is because Jordan scored 38. The reason the bad back game isn't is because Scottie scored 8. So, like, that's not the case to build. And while Antoine revealed, his, I don't want to say biases, but conflicts on this, and Wild revealed his, let me tell you, America, I have none whatsoever. I'm just a fair arbiter of NBA history and truth, and I have no dog in the fight about how Michael Jordan is viewed historically, none whatsoever. I just want the right story to be told. So, Scottie, if you're watching or listening, allow me to make the case. Here is the case that Scottie Pippen should be making. Fact, Michael Jordan played 5 seasons in his career without me as a teammate. He was under 500 all 5 seasons, a combined record of 182 and 228. Fact, Michael Jordan went to the playoffs 3 times without me, was 1-9, not in series, but in playoff games before I walked through that door. Fact, when we were going for our 3rd championship and faced the only adversity of that entire run, down 0-2 to the Knicks. Remember how Michael went out gambling the whole night before and got criticized for it? How did he do in that critical must-win Game 3 against the Knicks? Well, Michael was 3 for 18. I, Scottie Pippen, was 10 of 12 with 29 points and saved our season. Fact, the next year when Michael left us, did we fall apart? Did we crumble? No. We went from 57 wins with Michael to 55 without him, and I was 3rd in the MVP race. Fact, the next year when he came back, when we got bounced in the playoffs, what happened? The one time during our run where an Eastern Conference team beat us. Well, I, Scottie Pippen, played pretty damn well. 26, 12, and 6 on better than 50% shooting. Michael, meanwhile, was 40% on 24 points and got ripped to lose the game. That was his 6th turnover. Fact, after Michael retired again, I helped lead a team to Game 7 of a conference finals, could have won a championship if not for Shaq and Kobe's iconic comeback. That's the Scottie Pippen case, Antoine, not the one he's making. There is a case to be made that Scottie Pippen, who never missed a playoff game, who was always available, who always took on the hardest defensive assignment, who, when Michael was there, never complained about getting shots or anything like that, that only happened after Michael, who always did the dirty work and was always the not even a backup singer. He was, a fringe dancer to Michael Jordan's John Lennon, as far as in the media's eyes, was there with him. And does Scottie win 6 titles without Michael? No. But does Michael win 6 titles without Scottie? Absolutely not. That's the case to be made. So, Scottie, I'm available. And just because, Antoine, I'm such NBA truths are so important to me, I'll do it for free, buddy. I got your back. I just want the right story to be told.
I love the fact, Nick, that you really dug deep and really found some ways to make Scottie look really, really good. And I think that's what Scottie wants. Scottie wants to be put on the pedestal the same way Michael's put on the pedestal. And I'm telling you, it's the pandemic, it's the Last Dance, the way it was produced. And Michael was made out to be this great guy and the best player that ever played the game. It was a little question mark that you thought, and a lot of people in the world thought, that LeBron James was the best player in the world. And Michael made sure that people knew that he was the best player in the world. And in the process of that, Scottie Pippen got knocked down, and he's coming out now with his memoir telling the story. So I have no problem with it from both sides of the fence because I know both of these guys. So I'm appreciative that Scottie's telling his side of the story because I play golf with Scottie, and I never hear these stories. And now to come out in the book and hear them is great to see and great to hear, and look forward to reading the memoir. So I'm not mad at Scottie. It's unfortunate that these two guys are, to me, and being a Chicago Bulls fan, growing up a Chicago guy, that you want these guys to be best friends, but it just didn't happen. And they was able to accomplish an amazing feat, 6 championships. And, we have to respect that. I respect both sides of the equation, but Scottie wants his respect. He also deserves it too as well.
Yep. Antoine, that's great perspective. Thanks so much.